Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today we have two awesome guests, Milos the Mind Sarcev, super coach, IFBB Hall of Famer, and of course, the one and only Maxx with two X's, Charles, Haitian sensation, coming in hot for the Chicago Pro this weekend. So welcome guys, welcome.
Hey, it's a triple max, not double max.
Is it three X's now?
No, actually, hey, I heard from Dave Palumbo that the Maxx wears 6XL t-shirts.
Wow, is that true? I don't know. I've seen Maxx in the off season. You're about 3, 4, 5, 8 feet wide, I would say. You're about that wide. Yeah, you're one of the widest people I've ever seen. Before we get started, I do want to ask you, Maxx, because I'm following the Cuban situation because my wife's family, they're all from Cuba, so that's very interesting to me. But geez, you guys had some serious political stuff. Was it your president got assassinated a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, that's it's been about 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
that's. I guess I was surprised, but not surprised. Yeah. It's one of those situations. It's still shocking, but down there anything goes.
Right.
So you too surprised. I'm just more shocked on the way it happened. And when I'm listening to the news, how it actually happened, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Do you still have family? Do you have family down there, or is everybody in your family in the U.S. now?
Most of my family here, but I still have some family back home.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy, man. So that's enough. Let's get into bodybuilding stuff. To refresh people's memories, and I don't even remember, how did you two start working together? When was it? And how did it happen?
Well, Milos, I've seen Milos online and I've listened to some of the stuff that he spoke about. And I've always thought that I was like, oh shit, he sounds like a really smart dude, like he knows what he's talking about. Because the stuff that you might disagree with him, but the stuff that he says makes sense. A lot of people, they can say smart things, but they still like, you probably just know how to put sentences together, make shit sound good, but it doesn't make sense. But the stuff that he says, I was like, yeah, he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. So when I was doing, I think Romania, that year that I won, and one of his athletes, Reza, so I became friend with him. And so when I was looking for a coach, since I know Reza and I know Milos work with him, so I hit up Reza and I told him to put me in touch with Milos, and that's how we started talking and started working together.
So what was your first prep? What was this first show you guys did together?
Our first prep was not a full prep. Our first prep, we actually started working when I was about maybe 9-10 days out from a show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that was, okay, let me jump in, because Ron, you interviewed me actually at Arnold Classic. Really, the first preparation I did with Maxx was Arnold Classic, because before that we did something online, like he says, like for a few days, that you couldn't sense it. I still don't know his body, and it was just like that. 7-9 days turn out what I think he should do. But let me start from beginning. I was huge fan of Maxx's physique. I mean, we are in this bodybuilding. I'm here for 40 years. I analyze everybody's body. So I look at the frame. I look at the structure. Like, oh my God, wide shoulders, round, chest, right, the big arms, V-taper, crazy abs. So I was a fan of him. And after he won that Romania show, and I see him taking picture with my guy Reza Zinotlu from Iran, and Reza asked me, like, hey, would you work with Maxx? I said, hell yes. I mean, for me, you see, Maxx has the physique that he can be at the very top. If he puts everything together, he can stand next to anybody and beat him, or hold pose by pose. So when we had that interview, I don't know if you remember, for Arnold Classic, it was 3 days before. This is the first show that I was preparing him, and I saw him there Wednesday. I saw him there on Thursday, and then we talked on Thursday. He said what I think of the people competing. I know there was Dexter, there was William Boynak, there was Big Ramy. And I said, and you can listen to it. I said, just hope to God they're going to give a chance to Maxx, because if you give him a chance, you stand him next to those guys, then you're going to realize, oh my God, he's actually just as good or beating him in some poses. So for me, there was no brainer. I would be biased coach when I say, like, where should be his placing. And I never say about the placing, But if I talk, did he deserve a first call out? Hell yes. And you see, you were back in 90s watching our shows. We used to have like 15, 20 comparisons in the symmetry round. And then you come to Muscular, you have a 15, 20 comparisons in Muscular. And then you earn your placings, or even if you place, but I was placing sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9, that doesn't matter. I felt good about having my chance. At Arnold Classic, if you agree, Max was the best conditioned, like a wow appearance, to the point that guys backstage, Cedric McMillan, Victor Martinez, Johnny Jackson, you see, when your competitors come to you and command you take the hat off, so you look crazy, you know, that's something. But he didn't get recognition from the judges, which was so frustrating. So, you know, I don't want to be a Mr. Complainer always, you know. I always speak my heart and my mind. And just as a fan, you know, when somebody deserves to win, many times I told the guys that beat my guys, or even the guys, my guys beat them, but they didn't deserve it. I tell them, you know, there's, I really saw you, you know, placing higher by my judging.
Yeah. The two men on that stage last year at the Arnold, the best condition were Max and I thought Morgan Ast from France were the only two people in that show that had that real dry, grainy look from, you know, like that was the 90s look. You saw that all the time in the 90s. You almost never see it anymore.
In your opinion, what exactly they're looking for when people get on stage? Because you hear condition, but obviously there was a condition that day. So what they're looking for?
Well, it's not a conditioning show. It's not a mass show. It's not a shape. I do believe they're looking for the best total package of everything. So somebody, obviously most of the guys were a little less conditioned than you, but if I'm trying to play devil's advocate and pretend I'm one of the judges, I'm thinking maybe someone else has like more of a quad sweep. That's the only thing that when I look at your physique, Max, your upper body it's done. Stick a fork in it, done, perfect. You have such wide shoulders and your upper back is so wide and you have a tiny little waist and your legs on almost anybody else would look huge. But because you have so much width and such a crazy V taper, I would want to see more quad sweep. So you'd have really a nice crazy X frame. That's what I think.
Okay, I completely agree. On that sense, I would definitely agree because when I look at my physique, I see exactly the same thing. I see, because I have to be realistic when I look at myself, even though I wouldn't say that was a big enough reason for me to place 8 at the Arnold, but I would understand some of my placing because of that. Because when I look at that, that's okay. That's why I would separate me from those very top tier guys.
Yeah.
Beside that, I don't really see anything else that would take me away from them.
And 8th, you could have been higher than 8th. I think 7th, 6th, nobody would have complained if you'd been a couple spots higher for sure.
Yeah.
I see him easily in top 5 if you ask me. But here, Ron, this is a perfect opportunity. And here's Max. It's hard for Max to talk about himself, of course. Right. And just now he told you, okay, I see your point and agree. You know, possibly I would need more sleep. But you give reports. You and I are going to do a lot of analysis and post-show wrap-ups. And we also have to be like Max is asking you, if you're a judge, what are you looking for? Yeah. I think that you already said it, which everybody in the world agrees. Max's upper body is state of the art. Oh, I mean, V-taper, round muscle belly, striations, you know, everything is there. Now, you were talking about conditioning, and you said Max and Morgan Asti, which I agree. But you look at aspect of dryness. That's one aspect of conditioning. There's also hardness, and I think that if you really analyze, you know, just look at the picture. Max has a hardness that nobody else actually has. Even Chris Aceto talked to me a couple of times, like, what is it about him? That's his, I think, genetic advantage. You know, some people do get that grainy, androgenic, you know, hard look. He has it. And then, you know, many people don't have it. So this is a huge advantage that I think that Max really always has to bring on a stage. Now, speaking of the legs, you stand him next to somebody and you just really analyze legs. Okay, he could be a little bit more sweep, but then Max has a dramatically wider lats, dramatically wider shoulders, dramatically fuller chest, peak biceps, hanging tricep, so where do you draw the line? I mean, most of the guys, they know how dangerous Max can be if he just, brings it on stage. So last year, I think we were bringing in every single stage. We were a little off for Olympia, I must admit, for the prejudging. Yeah. But every other show, I think Max brought it.
Yeah, let me remind people how many shows Max did last year. Started off at the very beginning of March at the Arnold. California Pro was, I think, not till May or something. Yeah. So California Pro
was Florida.
Second, which was the second one of the year?
New York and Florida.
Okay. Florida. What was in Florida?
Yeah, you were there.
In Florida.
Yeah.
And that wasn't until like September, October last year, I don't think. It's normally in May, but last year was all messed up. So you did the California Pro in the spring, very close second to Antoine Vallant. I think that one probably could have gone either way.
That could have gone one way only.
Well,
didn't go that way.
Try to be nice. Come on. Chicago Pro.
That's probably the time when when they called me for a second, I actually thought I was dreaming. I'll be honest.
Wow.
I really did not see that one coming. It's why I was actually standing there like, am I really gonna freaking walk out there and be second place again? I mean, I didn't really think it was close. If that's no disrespect to one.
Well,
show.
It's opinion. It's all opinion. It's all.
I didn't think it was close. So when I was called second place after what happened the week before in New York, and I was like,
New York was before. Oh, New York was before that.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all mixed up. I'm thinking like the Chicago Pro was later in the year. So New York was after that. Yeah, New York was. I think you should have been a little higher than fifth place there. So that was fifth behind Ian Valliere, the winner, Justin Rodriguez, Jonathan De La Rosa, and Hassan. And yeah, condition-wise, the only one who was close to you in the top five there was really Ian. And, you have some things condition-wise, like Milos said, it's the deep separation that you have that not a lot of guys have anymore, just between the muscle groups, like in your side shots.
Even guys that get conditioned, they don't get separated, they don't get detailed, they don't get those lines. That's the thing. It's like I see people, they can get when they getting on stage, they can get rewarded for certain aspect of their physique. Yeah. It seems like to me, I only get knocked down for what I'm missing.
Yeah.
The positive is never really anything that I'll get any points for. It's always like, okay, you're missing that.
Yeah. I mean, because I always put a high value on separation. So when I'm a big fan of Jonathan De La Rosa's physique, but I always wanted to see more separation. There's certain guys that just don't have the deep cuts between the muscle groups, the real clear separations. And that's something you do have, especially in certain shots. It's very, very apparent. So California, yeah, that was a tough one. You could have won that show. Nobody would have complained if you had won. And Chicago, another close one. You looked great in Chicago, or it was actually Atlanta, but it was the Chicago Pro, just like this weekend. It's still in Atlanta. So it was third behind Akim and Justin Rodriguez again. And then the Olympia is how you finished off the year. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows. So you were prepping from early December, I'm guessing, of 2019 all the way till the end of December in 2020. So more than a year in prep.
It's even worse because during the pandemic, I had to kind of keep myself in prep mode because I didn't know when I was going to be able to do a show. So I had to basically be ready for whenever I had to jump on stage.
And weren't you training in like somebody's basement most of that time?
Yeah. Because the gym were not open.
Yeah.
It was tough, but I've learned a lot from that experience because if I can manage to make that work, so now I know I can make anything work.
Yeah, because Milos, I remember, I think it was a New York Pro where you were kind of nervous how he was going to look because he had been, at home and he wasn't the pandemic was screwing everything up, and you weren't really sure he was going to look as good as you wanted him to, and he really did. Chicago.
Yeah, I
New
mean,
York.
because I knew exactly. See, New York was shut down completely. I even talked to Rich Gaspari yesterday, and he told me same thing. Like when they had he had to train like somewhere 4 o'clock in the morning and with the shut lights because if police comes or anything else, right? You know, so I was even telling Max, I said, go to Big Steve and ask him to let you train and sneak in. I said, no way, they won't do it. But so this is what I'm going to tell you. With the very limited access to the gym and pieces of equipment, I was afraid. But then I realized one thing, and I'm going to say this publicly: genetics that Max has. I mean, he could probably not train for like 2 months and not eat anything, and he would look pretty much almost the same. I mean, it's shocking. You know, for me, I know that, you know, I had to, you know, work my ass off. I have to eat so many meals. Max would skip the meals, not even eat because he has appetite, and he would, you know, come out full, big, lean, like, oh my God. Yeah. So that's a huge advantage that we have going in our favor, and that's going into this show for Chicago. Let's talk about the Chicago. I mean, it's a tough show, of course. Yeah. Lila Brada is one of the guys that is being favored.
No, Lila Brada's his dad. It's Hunter.
I mean, Lee, I'm sorry.
I hope
sorry. Yeah.
Come on back.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking of Lee. Yeah, Hunter. Yeah, and what we've seen from Hunter going into last few shows, you know, pictures, videos going into the show, like you say, wow, right? But then every time when he stepped on the stage, he didn't really deliver it, you know, exactly. It was a little bit, you know, comparatively, when you see 2 weeks out photo, you imagine that he's going to be improved from that point, but actually, you know, went backwards a few times. So yeah, he's complete. He has, of course, you know, big chance. But I think that Max has you know, very good chance against him. You know, as far as, you know, matching the size, hardness, you know, well, the fullness, chest striations, and you know,
against him. I would say I think I have a good chance going up against anyone that wants to show up at that show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, you've been top 3, top 2, top 3 so many times. So many times. I don't know how many shows I've been to where you were like 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place. Very, very rare that you don't make top 5. You're very, very consistent. I've never seen you out of shape either. You know, some of these guys, sometimes they're in shape, sometimes they're not. Some guys, it's you never really know.
Understand when you have the kind of physique that I have, when people so used to seeing me and in such all crazy good shape most of the time. If I come slightly a little off, you would think I must look like a fucking fat off-season dude, because to people I look really, really out of shape just for being slightly off. I cannot show up and be slightly off. I can even show up and be as good as I previously was. It's almost like every single time I have to beat the look that I had before.
Well, I mean, I think the leanest I've ever seen you in person, and I haven't been to all your shows, but that Arnold Classic last year, that's the leanest I've ever seen you. I don't know if a human being can get leaner than that. Milos, what do you think?
I can. We're going to find out one more week.
Okay.
I can pretty much guarantee that I will be.
Can that condition be beat? His 2020?
You know, listen, nothing surprises me, because that was the first show for me really working with Max, and then I see him 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out videos, right? Yeah. And then by the time I went there and I saw him on Wednesday, I can't even tell you. When I left his room, I get the goosebumps, like, wow. You know, at this stage and age, you know, I've been 40 years in this bodybuilding. I've seen everybody. I've seen guys from 80s, from 90s, you know, and then I come to the room and here comes Max, completely depleted at that Wednesday, right? Yeah. And sorry, my language was, shit was happening all over the place. I mean, the way, you know, he doesn't even flex. He turns around, striations, like fibers going like this. Like, oh my God. and I was flat. So, and I see there was no body fat whatsoever, thin onion skin, vascularity, and then dryness was already, I mean, really, we don't want to say all the little secrets that we have, but our drying out protocol was a joke. You know, people wouldn't even believe it, you know, because he was just constantly dry. He was there. He was ready, lean, nothing dramatic needed to happen. The only thing that needed to happen was that he got the chance, if he get the comparison. And I'm 100% sure if they gave me comparison and he had a 2, 3, 4 comparisons, he would just get even harder and crazier. But you see, that's why they pulled him aside. At the finals, he didn't even get the second call out. He got the third call out, like a third group, which was like so heartbreaking, you know? And I'm not saying because Max is my friend and my athlete. I'm just being one of the guys traveling around the world. You prepare, you give your heart and soul, you step on the stage, and then you pushed aside like a stage decoration, and you give a courtesy call out to the last group, or just okay, because by IBB rules, in order to place, you have to be compared. You know, this is one thing that I know there was a one-time question. They didn't compare Dorian at all in one round. And he was like, oh, well, does it mean that I'm disqualified and I'm not placed? You know, so that's what I'm saying. You know, for Max, everybody loves Max. You know his personality, and everybody respects him. And everybody, competitors, just hope that he's going to be a little off, or maybe that he's not going to bring some improvements. You know, because they know Max with improvements is danger for everyone.
Yeah, I want to ask you something, Milos. You know, you're not just a nutritionist. You're also a training expert. You've come up with a lot of really innovative training techniques. Have you tried sharing some of that with something? What could you do to get quad sweep on Max? Because it hurts me to see Max not winning shows, because he should be winning shows. He's won a few, but he should be winning more. He's damn good. I mean, I have no horse in this race, but what could you do? What would you have this guy do to get some more sweep?
Okay, I'll tell you, I don't train Max. And when I see that his physique is better than my ever was, who am I to tell him, do this or that way? You know, and so as you know, Max does partial reps, which I like to do full. Maybe I like to, change and have a longer peak contraction, bigger stretch overload, change the tempo, change the angle, so I don't do anything like this with Max, because I respect, whatever he's doing, he knows his body. For legs, I wish to God, I pray to God that I have him, for like a 10 leg workouts, 10 leg workouts for the, between here and Mr. Olympia. I do believe I will get the best out of him, because let's put it this way, it's hard to teach an old dog a new tricks, especially a dog that does something all the time, right? So he has his methods. I would have to take him out of his comfort zone, okay, and get him into something new. And my methods is, I would do the pain zone, unlocked knees, deep squat, and then zero momentum, super slow reps, just volumizing, and then bring him to the failure, and then keep him there for a while. So shocking his body. The only thing that is going to cause muscle to grow is a shock, because if you don't shock it, doesn't have a reason to change, especially not at this age. He shocked all the other body parts, and he's mind-boggling bodybuilder. Like I said, upper body is untouchable. It's like, wow, you can stand Max next to anyone, upper body, pose by pose. He's there. It's a matter of taste. Somebody's going to put him ahead. Somebody is going to, but legs, we need to bring it up. So for me, I think he improved the legs, and you'll see in a week's time, but now that you asked me and you put me on the spot, and Max is there listening to me and say, oh shit, he probably doesn't, Milos can't do anything. I'm 100% sure if I would train him, because I would kill him on the legs in a way that I would, make that muscle expand.
Yeah. Max, what do you think about going to Vegas for like a month or two? What do you think?
No.
No, too hot?
Nah, I got too much going on out here. It's not because of anything, just because of my life that I have here.
Yeah,
I got a family. I got stuff going on here. I can't just pick up and let it go away for like for a month like that.
That's why you never went to Kuwait, right?
Huh?
That's why you never went to Kuwait. You can't just drop your life for 3 months and just screw off to the other side of the world.
I mean, no, that's not that would be one of the reasons, but I mean, no, that's yeah.
Okay.
I don't. I never consider going to Kuwait because I can do the same thing here.
Milos, you're gonna have to go to New York. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, of course, I love Maxx, and you know, just like you and everybody else, just a little bit more, and you're untouchable, right?
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit more. This is where I come from. Like, oh, I want this so bad for him, and I have no doubts that he's training very intensely. But it's probably using still the same movement that your body, you know, adapts to it. So you have to get out of that adaptation mode and, you know, force it to adapt in a new way. He's over 40, you know, and not too many people expect that he can at this stage improve, and he's improving. Okay, you know, by all means. But for Olympia, top tire, like you said, he would need a little bit more sweep and deep separation.
Max, what are you on stage, about 270 pounds?
Yeah, around there.
So you're one of the biggest men in pro bodybuilding for sure.
Yeah.
We don't have that many big dudes anymore. They're just not. Yeah. I mean, the only people that are a higher body weight that I can think, obviously Morgan, because he's like 6'5" or 6'6". Rami Kuklo is like 285. I can't.
I think it's really big. People that I can think of.
Hakim, yeah.
Cedric is big.
But there's not that many. There's not that many. It's, you know,
isn't Cedric said he get around 280 on stage? No.
Cedric?
Sergio. No, not Cedric.
Oh, who are we talking about?
Sergio.
Oh, Sergio. Yeah. I don't know if he's 280 on stage. Is he? Milos, you would know. You coached him before.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 280. You know.
Close enough. Let's say he's.
Let's put it this way:
265, 275, something. Yeah. The weigh-in.
Yeah, when they had a weigh-in at 1988 Mr. Olympia, you know, just look at and Lee Haney, all these. You know, Lee Haney was like 242, and he was like a monster. You know, so here comes Dorian, and he was pushing like 250, 260, right? And that was a quarter line bucket. Now, when you hear like this, the people just throw the number at like 280. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, if you remember at that Olympia in they never did the weigh-in again because I think a lot of people had been fudging about their weights because like Stridham ended up weighing in at like 229, and I think everybody thought he was like 250 or 260. He was later in his career, a couple of years later. But
I don't know why the weight matters so much. People emphasize so much about the weight.
Well, why do they care? Why do they care how much you bench press or squat? That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
somebody asked me about my weight, I guess I would tell them, but I don't really know why people always like to talk about how much they weigh. Like it makes no difference how much you weigh. So about to me, I think it's matter how you look. I'm not trying to gain 20 pounds if I don't look like I gain 20 pounds. I'd rather gain 2 pounds and look like I gain 20 pounds than actually gain 20 pounds and don't look like it. Yeah. The scale doesn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah, and I mean,
he asks me all the time how much you weigh now. I'm like, I have to get on the scale for you right now because I unless I specifically have a reason to get on the scale, I don't really care for that.
Right.
Lila Brada was what 185.
Yeah.
Sean Ray, right, the second at Olympia a few times. You know, when you think of Frank Zane, 3 times Mr. Olympia. When you think of giant killers, Muhammad Maccabi, Danny Padilla. You know, all these people. At that point, weight never matters, and I agree with Max. You're not supposed to step on the stage and put your height and weight, and doesn't matter. It's like appearance. How can Lila Brada be second to Lee Haney? And in that 1 year, he even thought that maybe he can take Lee Haney in 1990, right?
He was ahead of him after judging.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're talking about 1990 in Chicago.
Yeah.
when they drug tested Olympia that year, Labrada was ahead of Lee Haney after judging. And
I didn't know.
And then Lee Haney beat him in the posing round. And we all know Lee Labrada is one of the greatest posers that we've ever had in bodybuilding. So, I don't know.
Oh, back then they used to judge the posing round like they do at the Arnold?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, when did they stop that, Milos? Around 95? Somewhere around there? 94?
Yeah, when this changed. Listen, I don't want to sound bad and all this stuff. For me, you should keep the core and original way of judging and everything. You had a symmetry round for a reason. Why? To push people to be aesthetic, classic looking, shapely. That was a symmetry round. And you just judge, for your shape, core returns. Okay. Then you have muscularity round and you're judged for that. It's separate points. Then posing round, presentation. It doesn't matter what you have, it's what you show. Oh, you can, no. What you show. Now you can show poses other than mandatories that emphasize your physique and you look crazy and whoa, that's the wow effect. When they stop that, what do you see? People don't put effort in the posing routines.
No.
It becomes boring.
Yeah. What do you, Max? What do you think about posing? Do you put a lot of time and effort into your posing, or does it matter because they're not going to judge it anyway?
I plead the fifth.
Well,
good. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah.
No, but okay. So I'm going to put Max also on the spot, and you and everybody that is listening. This is a pro bodybuilding, and this is how you present your physique. Posing should be like daily, 1 hour. And that's what Hiratare Yamagishi, for example, for years, he would allocate 1 hour a day just for posing, going, hitting. So, you practice transitions, and then you're holding the poses, you're finding the angles, these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So if you're on a stage, you have to be there. Like I did this 1,000,000 times. And I love it. You can wake me up 3 o'clock in the morning. I can do my transitions at any time. Something up, something down, one side, other side. It has to flow. To be a little critical, yeah, because he pleaded the fifth, so I can criticize him. I would want to see. Look, I think Max has another 10, 15 poses that he would look crazy. Okay, that he just doesn't do it because he's comfortable with the poses that he does.
Well, it's like we just said, it's not going to be judged anyway.
But
So
why?
Why? But I'm saying it doesn't. I don't blame guys, Max, anybody. I don't blame anybody for not putting all that time and effort into posing. Because if that was me, I'd be like, what does it matter? It's for the audience. It's for my fans.
Okay. Let me disagree with both of you in this one. I think that you have to come at the evening and do your posing routine, and the judges are looking at you. They're maybe not judging your movement and all that stuff, but they're still judging your physique, right? Because why would you even have it? So there is the next appearance after the pre-judging. You go for it. They're still using these 2-3 minutes that you are presenting yourself as a judgment. So you better show yourself in absolutely craziest possible way. Get crazy poses that you didn't do in the mandatories. You get the reaction of the audience, and then it's, whoa, Max is on, or whoever, right? I still think that it's being judged, even though you don't have an actual score.
I don't think they're judging it because now they have that confirmation round at the finals where they judge them all over again.
Yeah, but what makes the difference? Before the confirmation, they saw you in the morning, and now they saw you in the evening. They have to judge it. They maybe you don't have a point system there written, but they have to. Otherwise, why would they even do it? Just for the audience?
Just for the audience.
What's gonna happen is you guys are gonna use me as the poster boy that does not practice his posing. So I will be the only one to be judged for my posing.
You won't be. I don't want to get in trouble, but I've never seen anybody like writing anything down during the posing routines ever. In the last 20, for like the last 20 years at least. They're sitting and watching, but I don't see any pencils in anybody's hand. Because that's what the confirmation round is for now. Is they want to see, okay, did this guy spill over? Did he tighten up? Did the guys change from judging to now? And I don't understand why they have to have that. I mean,
okay. So speaking of that,
I'm speaking for myself. I would actually rather if they judge that round because the posing round, because because I know for me, it's almost 100% guaranteed that I'll be better at night. So the more they judge at night, the better that I feel like it's gonna benefit me. So if they were to judge the posing round at night,
Yeah.
then I can put a lot more emphasis on hitting certain poses that would display my physique better.
Sure.
But for now, a lot of those poses, like Milo said, that he feel like look good on me. For me, I don't feel comfortable hitting them because I don't feel like it's me. But when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh shit, it actually does look good. But I feel like I don't have a reason to actually go on stage and hit all these different fancy, classic or school poses that is not part of my style, because I have my own style. But if I know I'm gonna be judged for it, I'll say forget my style. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get the perfect score that I need. But if it's not being scored, and everybody else going to say they were like boom, 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 front double bicep, back double bicep, they put something together. Like you said, I'm on stage. I'm gonna say it. I'm on stage. Every time I'm on stage, I'm doing my posing routine. And like you said, I'm looking down. Everybody I'm crossing, just staring at me. So there's nobody writing anything down. There's nobody taking any score. So you mean the next time I come? Well, maybe I'm saying too much, but anyway.
All right, let me change the subject so people don't dwell on that. The one thing I like about classic is that they do get to do, during the judging, they do get to do their best pose. They just say your favorite classic pose and they all hit something different. I think that'd be they're not going to do that in open, I know, but it would be cool if they did.
I think that's your most muscular.
Yeah. Oh, your most muscular is nuts.
Yeah, for a classic guy, instead of this, since they don't do a most muscular, they do their favorite classic pose.
Right. Yeah.
So as an open guy, you better hope your most muscular is your favorite pose.
You know what's funny about that is every time that's always the last pose they call, right? Your favorite most muscular. All the guys get so excited because they think that's their best pose. Everybody thinks that's their best pose. It can't be everybody's best pose, but you can see how hyped up guys get.
But I think the crowd wants to see it too. So
they do. It's a crazy. When I'm taking the pictures, because I'm up there taking the pictures and posting them immediately. That's the one. I always make sure I get the guys in that pose because that's freaky. Everyone loves the picture of the top 5 guys all hitting the crab or something. It looks nuts. Always is.
Yeah. It's called most muscular. You're looking for most muscle. That's why they're there to look bodybuilders for a muscle, right? So yeah, that's that most muscular was not mandatory pose in the 90s. For a long time. Yeah, there was only 7 poses until they brought it. I had I post on Instagram many of my old videos, and there was that's also my good pose. I wish I could punch it up at the end with it, and there was never a mandatory pose. Like, shit.
You're right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Because I remember for the longest time it was 7 mandatory poses.
Yeah.
So it's front double bicep, front lat spread, side chest, rear double bicep, rear lat spread, side chest,
side triceps, and then
side triceps, abdominal thigh, and So you're right. It's 8. So there's 8 mandatory poses now. You're right.
Yeah.
I've seen some of these old school video. I've always wondered why they stop after abs and thigh. They never do the most muscular. I didn't get it. I was like, why they never do most muscular?
Yeah, those are good. Those are the days, man. They had time because it was just bodybuilding. They didn't have to get through 11 different divisions. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so let's give a credit to the judges. If you have 11 different divisions and you don't have an all day, you do have to shorten it. But that puts more pressure on the athletes. Okay, when you step on the stage, every second that you're on the stage, you have to be perfect. And I mean, I don't know also if you realize when I post some pictures of 90s on my Instagram, and then it's completely lineup, you have to be tight. You have to be perfect, right? Yeah. And a lot of people there drop their shoulders, let their abs. You're being judged every second, that you're on the stage. So you have to be tight. And then when you have your 2 minutes, then you have to shine 100%.
But okay, let me just say this. This is what Milos always push on me. When you're on stage the whole time, you got to be tight.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, Milos, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stand on stage. I'm going to be tight the whole time, even though I'm standing in the back. So I'm standing there the whole time, holding myself tight. And I look around me. There's all these freaking guys standing around me. They're like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all these fuckers gonna place a head on me. and they're slouching, they're like this, and I'm holding tight this whole time. After a while, I say, you know what, F this, I'm gonna join the crew. I'm like this too. Why am I killing myself when everybody around me is just freaking chilling?
Yeah, but let me ask you now.
It's I'm over here just, if you have everybody around you, you all following the same rules. It's a battle. I'm in war, so we all in war. But at that moment, I feel like I'm in war with myself.
Yeah,
There's not one single person with that mindset that I have. Everybody is just chilling, having just there.
Well, listen, if I'm competing, I would want them to drop their shoulders and let their stomach out and relax. I would want them. That's what Arnold wanted. That's what Arnold was teasing Luke Ferrino.
For some reason, it was affecting them and benefiting me, but it seems like it does not affect them being that way.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't happen. I must agree. It didn't happen because at the Arnold Classic, do you remember after pre-judging, we were having a lunch and then you were looking through the pictures and you were on the side, relaxed, and there were top five were there hitting the pose and you're saying, I'm killing them relaxed. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you saw the pictures. Oh, so if you saw that and you think like, oh, you look better relaxed than they're posing, so is 2,000 people in the audience and 1 million people on the YouTube and whatever else watching. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. You were not awarded for your back stage. I mean, in the back lineup being always ready. You were not awarded. What?
For my professionalism, that to me that's just part of being professional. You know, I can do that. I expect as long as you step on stage, your presence got to be like a professional. Yeah. I 100% agree with that, and I understand that. That show your stamina. Actually, that to me that's when the battle starts, because if you're standing there for like 20 minutes, if you can hold yourself tight. So now, if we all know we're gonna be judged on that, we have to do a lot more work to have that endurance to actually be able to stand there for that time and be able to hold tight. And when it's time for you to go on stage to pose and still be able to pose. Me, I know that would give me an advantage. So I would be excited for something like that. But when I see that it doesn't affect any kind of placing, any kind of scoring, why am I really going to try to do it so much?
I think it does. It does affect in certain situations. It does. Like at the Olympia last year when Rami, the final call out, was it Rami, Brandon, Phil, and Rami was the only one who was really able to stay tight, and he wasn't dying up there. And as it kept going on, Phil was getting exhausted, and his belly starts coming out, and even Brandon was getting exhausted. And Rami, because Dennis James had been posing him like 5 times a day for the last month or 5 weeks. He was the only one who still had the stamina up there. And a lot of people thought he was going to win anyway, I think, but it definitely did give him an edge. But but in the lineup, I don't know if it even matters anymore. Unless you really
when you're the back of the lineup, not when you're in the front posing, when you're the back of the lineup, I don't think it matters.
Well, I wouldn't.
You know why it matters?
Gut hangout. that would be bad.
But here's why it matters. And this is how I know from the judge's perspective. I have a top 5. And I'm watching the okay, but then I'm picking who I'm going to put in the second call out. So you drop your shoulders and stomach and don't look good. These guys look a little bit okay. It's more than like it's just human nature. I scanned it and I've seen at the corner of my eye these 2 guys look, more ready, and these guys are completely out. I'm going to be inclined to call them. This is why. But there is one punchline. There is no relaxing on a stage, period. Yeah. That's the rule. There is no relaxing on a stage. What do you mean? Oh yeah, I'm on vacation. Let's chat with somebody. There's no relaxing on a stage. I'm serious. Yeah. And I agree with Max. A lot of guys, or let's say majority of the guys, do it. I'm like, oh my God, you're on a stage being watched by millions and you are like this. I mean, stomach has to be perfect. The legs have to be separated. Shoulders wide, come on.
People, I mean, you bring it up too, but Lee Labrada was a master at that. Yeah. He'd be back in the lineup and he was always everything locked in, tight, waist sucked in. He looked like he was in the middle of the stage, even when he was away off the stage. Never let anything down for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even at a big show, you're only out there at the longest for 30 minutes at the most. Would you say?
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a long time to keep everything tight. I know it is, but
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
It is.
People have never tried it. Try it sometime, guys. Try standing relaxed, everything flexed for even 5 minutes. I bet most bodybuilders can't do
what
it.
I was gonna say. Forget 30 minutes. Try it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Yeah, that's why guys cramp up and everything.
A lot of guys, it's tough. That's why a lot of people don't do it. That's why I can really blame people not doing it, because it's not easy. Because imagine you're in the back, you're standing there, you're trying to hold as tight as you possibly can. You're also wearing yourself out. Yeah. So when they actually call you to start posing, you're not gonna have the same energy.
Right. I mean, realistically, mostly you haven't had liquid, you're dehydrated, you're exhausted, you probably haven't slept well in like weeks. Yeah, people don't understand what's physically how you guys feel up there. I'm sure it's not.
Yeah, but you see, that's that performance side of the sport, because they say bodybuilding is not even a sport, it's entertainment. No. This is performance. This is like MMA fight. You can be in a camp, but in a ring, you have to perform. Yeah. You're a soccer player, basketball player, doesn't matter what it is. That's the time that you have to, be at your best, 100% of your abilities. For bodybuilders, that's posing. So that's why I say, I get frustrated. Even I agree with Max. We talk about this many times. I force him, you can probably hear me backstage. He's in a lineup and say, Max, abs, legs, I'm constantly on him, and he gets irritated, but you have to be, right? And then he says, what for? Because they're not even judging. So then I have to agree with him. Yeah, I'm disappointed that they didn't recognize that. They didn't. They should. But should I tell him, okay, then just let's give up. Like just drop shoulders and abs and everything don't look good. You can't. There's no relaxing on the stage, period.
Yeah, like there's no crying in baseball.
I agree. I don't think there should be full relaxation on stage. It just, to me, that doesn't look professional.
No. But especially with the belly, because everybody, you don't have a gut.
You focus a lot on the belly.
No, because you're a flat. You don't have a gut. But I'm saying most guys who are like 240, 250, 260 up, if they relax, they have a gut. You got to keep it sucked in, and nobody wants to see that.
But that makes it even harder for them also to hold it in tight that whole time.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's a battle.
Yeah. Okay, Ron, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
How many top professionals now you would say have a great abs?
Like 3, 4. I don't know. Sean Roden. There's not that many.
You're quiet. You're whispering. Right?
Yeah, there's not that many. I mean, you don't see a lot of detail in the midsection anymore, and that's one thing with the condition. When Max was hitting like the ab shots last year, the serratus and all that stuff. There's so much detail, and the abs have like striations on them and veins up and down. Yeah. I mean, Max has one of the better midsections.
So, Ron,
yes, you
are expert in the field, watching this for many, many years. And I just put you on the spot. I'm sorry, but I did.
Oh, it's okay.
To tell me, okay, find the guys. I mean, really, I'm not trying to put them down, but why? That beauty of, look, I talked to Max before, and it was very interesting when he told me, when he was looking at guys from the 70s, like Serge Nubret, Arnold, they didn't have such a great legs, right? So his idea of perfect shape would, kind of be that. And, this is Max. You remember Max when you told me? Yeah. But back then, everybody had a crazy abs, right? That was like mandatory. And that slowly changed. So from B-taper to the bubbly gut to the no abs. Okay, no abs. Who cares?
Well, nobody. Like I said, even up until in your era, well, nobody trains them anymore. I mean, in the Arnold days, it was like every day Frank Zane did like an hour of ab work every damn day. In the 90s, we had guys like you, Milos. We had Ahmed Haddar. There were some people with some really great midsections in the 90s.
I mean,
too.
Not to have somebody as big as he was, he had a great abs, and he was very proud of his abs. There is Sean Ray, goddamn, Charles Claremont. I mean, everybody was pretty much there. Now, this is a huge advantage for Max. I mean, he does the front double biceps with the abs, and I like that. Some people say
he crunches down on him.
Yeah, but ab shot, it's crazy. Ab shot is crazy.
I used to do abs 7 days a week, every single day.
Oh, you still do?
No, not anymore. Because now it becomes such a dominant part of my body. I don't have to do that much. Because after a while, once you build that big foundation, you don't have to do the same kind of work. Because right now it's just I can maintain it much easier. But in the beginning, when I really needed to make it a strong point, I was doing them 7 days a week. And I actually think back then they were probably stronger than they are now. Because back then, I remember my abs were so thick. Even if I had a sweater on, you can see them through my sweater.
Were you doing weighted exercise? Or did you only do body weight?
No, I was doing body weight because I think I believe back then that doing weight too much weight for your abs actually make your midsection thick.
I think so.
I agree.
Detail on the abs, so I would just do body weight and just squeeze.
It worked.
I agree.
It worked. Yeah.
Yeah, I must say this. Sean Ray back in the early '90s, when he told me, like, look, you have a great abs, but just because you have the great abs, don't stop training, but make them even greater. So when you have something crazy body part, right? Instead of being relaxed, okay, I don't need to really put so much emphasis, make it even better. So Max has a very, very deep. Imagine if he makes even deeper. Yeah. So this is a showstopper, for me. Yeah, it's something that cannot be denied. When you look at the lineup in the frontal expos, initial presentation of everybody, what do you see? 6 little muscles in the middle of the body is the center of the body. If you just glance it for a few seconds, that's what you're going to notice if you really look. I mean, everybody's going to be quite bigger, but who has abs? That's why, I push Max always keep abs, don't relax.
That's why I don't get why people doesn't focus on abs, because if you hit any front shot, that's like the center of the body. I mean, to me, that's like the first thing that your eye's going to go to. I don't see why people neglect that.
The condition, the first things you look at from the front of the abs, and then now when we turn around, everyone's like, glutes. Does he have glutes? Oh, his glutes on and he's out of shape. He's fat. He's
fat. Yeah. Glutes became like such an important body part, which I always disagree with.
Yeah. But, I'm surprised they didn't add another mandatory pose for the glutes. Flex your glutes. Most glutes.
Glute most muscular.
Yeah. Show us your butt.
Jesus.
Well, I want to let everyone know, because we talked about it real quickly, but Milos, you are going to be doing some play-by-play with me. Well, not the play-by-play, but some commentary. I'm very, very happy because, man, it would have been just me all by myself, and I don't like that. I don't like to be lonely. I love working with you, Milos. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, as always, I give my honest opinion. So now, as a preview of Chicago, right?
Yeah.
We do have a Labrada coming, not Lee, but Hunter. Sorry, Hunter. Then there's the rumors that Raleigh Winkler might come. So of course he's formidable. A great champion that is a threat on any stage, including Olympia stage. So if Max is going against him, that's going to be a battle. Yeah, so we have to prepare for something like this. I understand that Shaban is coming. He was twice second in last 2 shows. So he is contender. Is Wilkins.
Brett Wilkins from Colorado. Wilkins.
Yeah, beautiful shape. Yeah, and so look, when we analyze, right? So you have to make some kind of judgment and say who is better. Sometimes differences are so minuscule, and then when until you see them together, you can't really make the judgment. When you see them, and then everything goes into play. Oh, now shape, balance, conditioning, presentation. If they can hold the poses, do they fade? Do they actually get the better? So it's going to be a huge battle. I hope that everybody's going to tune in and watch the Chicago Pro.
Yeah, musculardevelopment.com, guys, and of course the Muscular Development YouTube channel, which this video is on. But yeah, it's going to be a battle. We got some really good guys. If Rolly shows up, we got Rolly, Max, Hunter. I like to see a show where there's like 5 guys that any one of those guys look good enough to win, 5 or 6 guys, and then God, they got to battle it out. And the judges do not have an easy job, not at all.
Yeah.
I would never want to be a judge. Never.
I hope they only have one winner.
Yeah. Well, they can only be one winner.
Yeah, I know.
Let's hope it's you.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
And listen, when we talk about this, and I love Max's attitude. He is always going to the show to win, and he honestly believes he has the tools to win. You see, I did mention this in one of the interviews. Back in the 90s, I was preparing for the show. I already knew there's no chance in hell I can win. I mean, Dorian, Flex, Kevin, Sean, Nasser, Ronnie, Chris, Lee, Paul, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And shit. So, and I'm a little bit hard on myself now. Like, why didn't I just, believe it? Because I did believe one time only. It was Canada 97.
And you won.
I won it. So Maxx does believe that he should win. And so who can blame him for saying this, right? He's supposed to feel that way.
You have to, because it's not a team sport. It's you. Nobody. There's only one winner. And if you don't believe you can win, you're not going to be able to. Yeah, stay home. Because
that's what I always say. If I don't think I can win, what the hell am I going to go there for?
Why are you doing it? Yeah. It's too much work for. Why would you train your ass off for 2nd place or 4th place or 8th place? No.
Well, you see, I'm guilty of. I did it, because I was one of the guys, still. But I'm really honestly saying that was a huge mistake on my part. Yeah. That I didn't maybe have that belief and push the notch. You know how we are. Okay, Max just told you he cannot come to Vegas and train with me or go to Kuwait if there was a chance, because he has to work. He has his life, So same thing. We didn't have some crazy endorsements, so I had a gym. I had so many things to take care of, and then you don't really put 1,000,000% effort into this one, So nowadays, which I do not understand really. You just mentioned Max competed 5 times last year, and there was if there was more shows, he would probably do more, right? Now shows are being organized and pros, and right now we have 5 times more pros than back in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Where are they? Back in the 90s, in Night of the Champions, 40 to 50 guys showed up. Yeah. Most of the shows now, if I go on the musclememory.com for whatever shows, I just copy paste results. Oh, there was 30, 35 guys, right? Now there are a few, which I don't understand. You have an IBB Pro card, which is licensed for you to make money on that stage, be seen, and be contacted by other promoters and people that are gonna invite you to do the seminars, appearances, whatever, guest posings, and you don't do your job. Like, oh hell! It's like Monday to Friday. You're gonna pick Tuesday. I'm gonna only work on Tuesdays.
I think a lot of guys kind of figure out if they do too many shows, they burn themselves out. So we all now have the perception you have to save yourself for the big show, which is like the Olympia. So it's all about trying to get. I mean, anyone that can get that quick qualification for the Olympia, you're not gonna more than likely you're not gonna see them
right
for the Olympia.
Yeah.
If you do see them, you probably see them at one more show.
I mean, this is your first. This is your first show of the season, but we also have Texas Pro coming up, right? We have Tampa coming up. I mean, hopefully you'll win, and that'll be the end of it. But I applaud you for doing all those shows because, like you said, so many guys now. No, I can't compete more than once a year. Oh no, my body can't handle it. I remember the '90s. Milos used to do like 10 shows a year, for God's sake, sometimes.
Oh, there was actually up to 15 some years, because we had like 7, 8 European Grand Prix shows, and everything organized from Ironman, Arnold Classic, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Niagara Falls, Night of the Champions. For me, that's my working day. How can I pass? I seldomly pass few, but I did 72 pro shows in my career, right? And initially I did, but what I'm saying, when I met Max, I mean, he did Romania, he went to Japan, he was constantly active. And then after a busy season, 2019, right? Yeah. So let's go to Arnold Classic, first show of the year, right? and he did phenomenal. And then pandemic happened. Like Max, we had a plans to go to Brazil, and he was preparing for it, and then imagine prepare for the show and say it's canceled. Like, oh my God! And then you have to keep yourself ready. That's a nightmare.
Yeah, look at all those guys that got ready for Arnold Australia last year. That they didn't do the Columbus show. They were just going to do the Australia one, and that got shut down last minute.
Was that like 1 week after the Arnold, or 1 or 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was 1 week. So they prepped for nothing. Imagine that.
I think it was some of them was actually there in Australia, and then when they find out the show was gonna be canceled.
Sergio went.
Yeah, Sergio got stuck there for like 2 months.
Well, the show canceled like a few days before.
Yeah, he couldn't leave. He was in Australia a long time. Yeah, everyone was people getting stuck left and right last year, all over. Didn't Rami get stuck in like Dubai or something for 6 months? Yeah, everybody was getting stuck. Anyway, well, guys, we will continue this in Atlanta for the Chicago Pro, because man, it's going to be a big show. We got a lot going on there. Looking forward to seeing you on stage, Max. Milos, looking forward to work with you again. Love doing commentary with you. I love just sitting there and listening while you're coming up with all this stuff. I'm like, oh no, but usually I'm like, oh man, because I don't think most of the things that you come up with and say, I'm like, I would never have thought of that. You'll notice things I don't catch. So that's why you have that eye from 40 years of looking at physiques. You can't trade experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's my passion. So I'm super analytical, and that's how you should always be. Yeah. Can you maximize it? Okay. Are you truly honestly doing everything possible to succeed? Okay. Now, if we are commentators, we're supposed to look at every aspect. Oh, this guy, his symmetry, his proportion, his balance, his muscularity, his conditioning, his everything. Okay. How does he compare to the other guy? Why would I give this guy over this guy? This is how I look. Sometimes I cannot explain why judges gave, okay, if this guy has a better balance and better condition and it's bigger, it's hard to explain, right? But many times that's misconstrued in a certain way. I'm complaining about judging. No, I would just like you to explain to me, if you honestly believe that somebody should win, explain to me.
Tell me why.
You were a competitor.
I think a lot of time too. I don't know if it's the sport. It seems like everybody's so sensitive. It's like you can't even ask questions. I mean, you can have a genuine question with no disrespect, but as long as you put it out there, people think it's either you're complaining or you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. A lot of time, I just have an honest question. I just want to know, like certain show that I do. If I hear that, I think this guy, he beat you because, your back need to be better. And if I look at him, I say, well, shit, he got no back whatsoever. So if I was to want to know why is that okay for him, even if I want to ask that, I feel like it's inappropriate for me to ask that, because you're almost going to feel like then, feel like I'm challenging you. So then I have to keep that to myself. So even though it's an honest question, you might tell me something, I'd be like, oh, you know what, that makes sense. But I'm not gonna ask that, because people take offense out of you just asking a question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing you can never, I don't think a judge can never be offended by is if you come up and say, what would you like to see different from me next time? And they should be able to come up with an answer. Yeah. If you didn't win, there's got to be something you could do so maybe you could win next time. Maybe it's some body part, maybe it's something, but they should be able to tell you something that you can work on. Otherwise, it's like, what do I do? What do I do? Just, keep showing up and getting 4th or 5th or 8th place. I want to win. I'm here to win. This is why I train. So anyway.
Well, I think for this one, I have a pretty good idea. When I spoke to the judges of what I needed to be doing, which is pretty much stuff by now I should already know. Just got to get my leg better and just show up with just keep getting better. And I think this coming weekend, I'm definitely gonna show my best package thus far, and my leg are definitely most improved. So I'm excited to show what I've all the changes that I've made. So I hope that the top guys, I hope everybody show up, because I want some real competition. So I think the deeper the competition, the better it is for me, because when I stand next to them, then they won't have no choice but to really see the comparison between me and them. I think that would put me in a on a better light and a better spot for me to stand next to the top guys and see how well I can compare to them.
Yeah, well, that's it. Let's end it there, guys, because it's coming just a few days away, because we're not going to post this. We're doing this on a Sunday. It's probably going to post in a couple days. This weekend, Atlanta for the Chicago Pro. Tim Gardner Productions is a website. I believe there's pay-per-view information on there. I believe they're going to have a good pay-per-view, guys, so check that out. musculardevelopment.com. We're going to be doing play-by-play and videos with myself and Milos. It's going to be a good time. So everyone, make sure you tune in to see this man on stage, Max Charles, at the Chicago Pro. Thanks for watching Ronline Report, and we'll see you next time.